Hey everybody, so today we're going to be doing a somewhat traditional haircut. I'm not going to be using any sort of clippers or anything. As you can see, I'm just doing everything by hand with the shears. So with these types of haircuts, right, this is if you go to a salon or barber shop and you basically say that, hey, I want a haircut with scissors only. I don't want to go super, super short. Maybe just take like, a half an inch the most, and let's just create kind of a nice traditional type of haircut throughout the back and the sides, and we'll leave it a little bit longer in the front. So for these types of haircuts, the best thing to do is, as you can see, I'm really just following the head shape, pulling the hair out from the head, and keeping everything in a very kind of traditional, consistent pattern. I'm working from side to side, and as you work up the back, you can see when you pull the hair out, it naturally gets a little bit longer towards that like top back of the head, right? The middle or the cowlick maybe, or the swirl. But it's always okay for these types of haircuts. And I always suggest to go a little bit shorter throughout the nape area, just because, it's going to be a little bit closer and it's going to be a little bit neater, right? This also helps the life of the haircut last a little bit longer. So as you can see, this piece that I'm holding up, it needs to be a little bit longer throughout the round of the back of the head, right? If you cut the hair too short, then what's going to happen is it may potentially stick up. So now I'm going to go from the back to around the ear, and, I'm just really chipping around the ear, nothing too crazy. We can always clean this up later when, if you're going to use trimmers or something like that, or have your hair done and get the edges cleaned up. But I'm really just point cutting here, making a nice soft, clean connection around the ear, and making sure that, it's going to look nice and neat. Do the same thing on the other side, obviously, but here's where we're going to tackle that top back. And this is great if you do have a swirl in the back of your head, a cowlick, you want to make sure you leave it longer. And especially if you're going from longer in the front, right, to, shorter to longer, I always say. So we're pulling the hair just straight out from the head, and I'm not like overextending into the front yet, or I'm keeping it very, very focused, right? Very focused in one area. And I always like to take this area and then work down the middle. So I always say it's the top, the corners, and the sides. Here is where we are going to work this in, going towards the front. Okay, we've already done the back, made the connection, and I'm really just going to the front. Now the front, I want to leave a bit longer to have some length right there. As you can see, about that much we're taking off, and those ends are a little bit kind of, chopped up and thin anyway, so we got to strengthen those. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm just going to work scissor over comb throughout the bottom here to soften that up. Sometimes I jump around a little bit, and I just want to kind of tackle that down. But once you are done with the sides, you feel like if there's any time where something feels like it's being thrown off a little bit, or you're a little like, oh, I want to do the sides instead, I mean, that's fine. You don't have to follow, sometimes I jump around all over the place, and I say, you know what, in order for this to look better and feel better, I need to do something else. So I'm working now into the corners and right in that very, very front. And this is where, again, I'm doing all this to really blend everything in. And I'm just making sure all those corners match into the top right at the sides here. Now, again, the front, I'm leaving the front longer because I want to have this type of style. So after blow drying it, you could see it's a very nice, somewhat traditional haircut. However, I would suggest using something like one of my crafted matte paste, or maybe Clutch or Pregame or something, but definitely more of a, one of my matte pastes I think would work well for this, a sea salt paste. But you see, even with a traditional type of haircut, you can get a lot of texture, get a lot of volume from it. I think this is a haircut that always is going to be in style no matter what. So if your hair is growing out a bit, this is a great way to wear a different type of look, even though it may be a bit longer to you, but you can add some texture, add some fullness, and I think this is definitely a great look. If you want to purchase any of my products, use code YouTube20, that's YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.